Hi everybody, my name is Tom Solid, I'm the founder of the Paperless movement, and today we have a special guest here. Okay, and here he is, Untitled.
Hello, hello.
Hello, hello. It's awesome to have you here on this channel. And I know many out there didn't know who is behind PaperLike. And yeah, Jan, I contacted you a year ago when it was actually still in Kickstarter, I think, or you just finished the Kickstarter campaign. And I found this product searching for PaperLike feel. And I asked you if you could send me some samples, and yeah, since then I'm addicted. And I showed in many videos why I'm addicted to PaperLike. And so it's awesome to have you here, and now we all want to have the answers to some questions. Jan, where do you come from?
Well, let's start in the basics, yes. First of all, I must say thanks a lot for your invite. Yeah, well, it's a joy seeing all the tips you have of note-taking apps and everything. Most of the time I sort of ignore them and stick to the one that I know. But I have really tried the rest that you've recommended, and yeah, it's awesome. And you're doing a great job with all of that.
Thank you very much.
And yeah, to your question, where do I come from? I come from Guatemala. Nobody would expect that. I don't look so Guatemalan, but my family is German. I now live in Germany, but I grew up in Guatemala, Central America, the land of eternal spring. It's a beautiful country. I can invite everybody to visit it once, and it's great.
Okay,
yeah.
So it will be my next holiday then.
Yeah, definitely. Ask me and I can give you some tips.
Okay, so if you have any questions about Guatemala and where the best spots are, this is the person you have to contact. But if you have also questions about how to get this paper-like feeling on your iPad, this is the man to go for. Right? So,
well, if Tom Solid says so,
I say so.
I would believe him.
And yeah. It's not only because I said it so, it's, you know, just check out these, I don't know, 4 videos I made already showing why PaperLike is so awesome. So I want to ask you some questions about this. So how actually did you start to make this matte or matte screen protectors, Jan?
Matte.
Matte screen protectors.
Matte screen
Why?
protectors.
Because there have been already so many matte screen protectors options out there. So why did you start this?
Well, in a way, it's a strange thing for me in a way, because every time I hear the question, how did you get to that? I think, wasn't that the most obvious problem of the iPads from the beginning? Because it was, when it came out, I think it was 2014, I tried out the first iPad in the Apple Store. The first thing I did is try the pencil on the iPad, and I realized that feels terrible. I had been trying to go paperless for years, with the previous iPad, with other stylus tips and everything. It never worked. And when I tried out the new iPad, it was awesome, palm rejection, everything you wanted, but it just did not feel right. It even kept me from buying it. I said, okay, I will not buy an iPad until somebody fixes this. Yes. I waited for 1 year, 2015, I think. Then I tried it again and said, hey guys, where's the thing that makes it feel like paper, or at least make it feel right? No, that doesn't exist. I'm like, okay, that's so obvious, somebody will do it. Then 2016 came, nobody had fixed it. I found many blogs where people were discussing what was the matte screen protector that felt the best. And I was like, look, people are really looking for this. They're discussing what is the best screen protector that simulates paper. So then that's when I said, okay, seems like nobody is interested in fixing this. Let's try to fix it myself. And then I got to went into contacting all kind of manufacturers that I could find for screen protectors, and found one that was willing to work with me as this one small guy doing that next to his job. And working with them, we got trying out different forms of making it rough, making it as rough as possible without having the screen being too matte. You know, if it gets too rough, it starts getting too much noise. So in the end, we went all the way to too much noise, and then we went down to just right, like the Goldilocks principle. Not too rough, not too smooth, just the enough roughness so it feels right.
So is it a problem, the rougher it gets, the more blurred it gets, because that's also a factor everybody's talking about. Everybody loves the paper feel, but we also get a little rainbow effect.
Yes.
That you actually, when you use the screen protector for a week or something, you forget about it. You just don't realize it. You just, well, yeah, but it's up to everybody. But yeah, that's the reason for the roughness. You can't go too rough.
Yes, exactly. And that's the thing. You can go rougher, and it gets more noisy, and then at one point it's not fun anymore.
Yeah.
And a fun fact, a very good friend of mine who at the moment helps me out with the whole online marketing stuff, I had found the combination that I thought was perfect. It was as rough as it needed to be, as transparent as it needed to be enjoyable. And he tried it out and said, "Oh no, you can't sell this. This is terrible. It's so untransparent." And like, oh man, then I thought I could let everything go and just stop it.
Yeah.
But I had been working with that for 1 week already, and it didn't have any problem. I didn't have any issue with it. And it's sometimes the first impression is like, oh no, what happened with my retina? But it's a thing that after a little bit of time, you realize, well, you never kept your eyes so close that you would see every retina pixel. And that's the same. After some time, you realize the advantages of it. For example, now I've got my new iPad. And Tom, you already mentioned that. Look at this reflection.
Yeah.
Not
Beautiful.
just the reflection, the smudges.
It's actually your head on the iPad there. It was actually exactly there.
Well, maybe a little bit of my face, but you don't see it.
Okay.
But yeah, it is an issue. And then after some time, people have to just realize, what do I prefer? Having every miniature pixel or the whole advantage of having a smudgeless screen, of having something that feels just right, having a consistent line pressure, which is also interesting, because if you have all the finger prints on it, it starts being slippery and then sticking. And slip and stick and slip and stick. With the PaperLike, it's always consistent. And there are many advantages, and still there's this one, let's say, drawback, which will always be an issue with this kind of solution, which in my advantage, in a way, I can say Apple will never do this and take me out or take PaperLike out of the market, because they know that if they did something like that, many people would not have the tolerance.
Yeah.
But that's why I say PaperLike is for people who appreciate these advantages.
But I can absolutely agree that the key moment for me was when I first put this PaperLike on. I thought, okay, it feels a bit like paper, and it was really nice, but I thought, the display is different. I wouldn't say it's ugly or something. It is just different. You're not used to it. So I left it on there one month to make intensive testing, and I took it off, and I was shocked when exactly this, you draw and stick and everything. And now I put it back on the PaperLike and used it for 8 months now, and bought the new iPad Pro, the one you showed, and it is, awful, because it's not only the Apple Pencil that sticks, it's your palm as well, so you can't slide over the iPad while writing properly, except it's so fatty in the end that you will slide again. But you don't want to have this, because then you have no nice display anyway. So I absolutely agree with this. But tell me, what is your background that you know the information, or where have you been able to develop such things? Can you tell us a bit about this?
In a way, I must say it all started in 2011 with me coming out of the university and thinking, oh no, the job market is difficult, I have to start my own company. So what I decided is I studied business engineering, and then I did a master's in entrepreneurship.
All right.
But in the end, I must say this master's was sort of had no value in comparison to meeting other people who thought like me, like entrepreneurs. And I think that's a very important thing, to meet people who think about creating.
Yeah.
And that was I think more important than what I learned in the course was meeting other like-minded entrepreneurs, which was the big change. Yeah. And well, after studying that, I said, obviously I have to start my own company. And I completely, coming out of the university, I think you say blue-eyed, had no clue of what was coming. I said, okay, I will create a docking station for MacBooks. Well, the thing is that I had, maybe you can show an image of that later. The Mac, it was called the Mac Dock, yeah? Well, for that, I spent from 2011, end of 2011, up to mid-2013 creating that. And I had my crowdfunding campaign, I did the whole sourcing in China, I did the whole thing alone, from home. It was the worst moment in my life, like really, in the end, after 1.5 years of really intense work, a bit more, I was alone in this world. And then that was my experience where I realized I can't do this alone. I had to kill my startup, which was a big pity. But now, looking back, that was the worst time in my life, like really getting through all of that and then killing that thing that I've been working for so long. It was a base for building this now, yeah? Which now in the end I can say, everything I learned there, I could reapply it into PaperLike, yeah? Maybe if I would look back and say, hey, if I could choose what I would do, I would have done PaperLike back then, because it's from its complication much easier. Because I don't have any electronics, yeah? But let's say, had I done PaperLike in 2011, there was no iPad Pro with pencil, so the timing is never really right. So in the end, I love thinking back to that experience, to what Steve Jobs said, so cliche, Steve Jobs, yes, isn't it? Yeah, but I think he said that, and I really like that phrase after some time, is you just have to trust that the dots will connect in the end. And really, if you do your best job, and that's what I really did that 1.5 years, I just did not stop. I did everything I could, up to burnout and complete isolation from social world. But now I can look back and say, look, it's all built on that.
And I think that's awesome that you share this experience with us. And many people realize now how much effort is behind such a product. It's not, coming up with the idea and do it. And I know many watching this channel as well know what Jan is talking about. I know what Jan is talking about, but you just have to burst through it, and then you will have success. And you have success not with something shady, but with a really awesome product. So let's talk a bit more about the PaperLike. Why is there only a PaperLike? And that's actually a question I get a lot from the community. Why is there only a PaperLike available for iPad? I know it, but do you? No. So Jan will tell you.
Well, there are many different reasons. The most basic reason of all is actually that the tips of all the other styli, yeah, let's say the stylus for the Microsoft or Samsung, and all these styli. That's
you can say both.
Way. You can say both.
Yeah.
Ah, okay. I always thought I said it wrong in my video. Anyway, if you look at the Apple Pencil stylus, the tip is integral with the whole body. Yeah. So whatever vibration comes through the tip goes all the way to your hand, yeah? And that's the thing, if it vibrates and you feel that roughness goes all the way to your hand directly. All these other styli, they have micro separation between the tip and the stylus, yeah? So that micro separation absorbs the whole roughness, which is a pity, because I would say I would love to have PaperLike for, let's say, the Microsoft tablets. And I can tell you another reason, which is pretty interesting in general, thinking about anyone who's thinking about market and about the Apple market in general, is it's the same from the MacDoc time, is that Apple, luckily, they make a new size, a new shape, yeah, a form factor, and the form factor stays for at least 4 years, yeah. So, for example, my MacDoc was compatible with MacBooks that were 6 years in the market, or 4 to 6 years in the market. Yeah. So you create one solution, it will be compatible with 6 years of product, which actually market-wise is a pretty good thing. And that's why if you look at all the MacBook or all the laptops in the market or tablets, the Mac computers and tablets are the most sold single platform devices. If you see Samsung, they have a billion different versions. Yeah. If you see Windows, they have a couple more versions, and they all have so many versions, especially laptops. And that's the thing, if you have a solution for one of them, that's why if you see all the accessory companies, it's a pretty good market to work on. And that's another reason, because I've learned from other manufacturers who say I only stick to Apple form factors because they are consistent.
That makes
if anybody
sense.
was wondering about that.
That's really interesting. So that's something I didn't know, I didn't realize, but now it makes sense. There's so much accessories for these devices. Yeah. So in general, talking about the new Apple Pencil, what do you think about the new Apple Pencil? Is it such an improvement?
Well, the new Apple Pencil is, if you would say it's like a revolution compared to the previous one. It actually works just the same. If you just looked at the tip and used it on the iPad, it would be just the same. But having to charge a pencil like this, you know it. It doesn't feel right. I'm sure everybody who ever charged it there had this feeling, the body saying, "Oh no, I'll break this." Yeah, and that's something that was never good.
I actually mentioned that in my last video as well. That is a, they thought really about it and improved it. But I got a comment below this video saying, "Yeah, why didn't they think about this in the first place?" It is quite an obvious thing. So they did it on purpose to sell this, and then they have a reason to sell a new device, because we have to buy a new Apple Pencil now and everything. So did they knew? And
I would rather say they focused on the first challenge. Just think of what was the first challenge of the first iPad Pro. Yeah. Getting this perfect screen experience. Yeah. Just imagine, I remember the first time I put my hand, just putting the hand on the iPad and drawing something, and then you realize, wow, it just works. Yeah. And they did a great job with that. Nowadays, the Windows tablets with their pencils, for example, they took the technology from Wacom Cintiq, from Wacom. Yeah. That's why they don't have to charge them, or I think you have to charge them because of the button, whatever. But they just took another technology and said, let's take that. Yeah. So they just took some standard. Yeah. These guys built a completely new thing that really works. Like, it's incredible. Yeah. I have tried all other tablets and none of them has had this kind of
absolutely
experience.
Agree with this.
And that's why I would say you could be cynical and saying, oh yeah, they must have had everything there ready, just waiting and giving you different stages of products.
Yeah, I'm not sure.
As I said before, they make one form factor, it stays for a long time. This one might stay for 4 years. Maybe they will switch this one as soon as Apple iOS and OS X collide into Apple OS, which is my big dream, having something that's a hybrid between a laptop and a tablet. Yeah. I give it 4 years for that to happen, and then everybody will say, oh, they had it ready in 2018.
Yeah, maybe they had their idea, but you know, they also have time pressure and they have competition out there and everything, and I think it was the perfect thing to do to get this Apple Pencil out, because I also remember the first time drawing with this Apple Pencil. It is just a game changer. I told many of you already, I used the first generation iPad already and testing always these styluses, and you, Jan, agree surely with this, how it feels with these all these, you know, third-party styluses with the lagging and so on. I saw people working with this. I could never do this, but this was really the game changer with the iPad Pro, that I switched from paper notebook to completely go paperless. Yeah. So thanks for confirming that. Yeah,
it's a pleasure.
Okay, Jan, I think that was awesome input you gave us all there. There was a lot of content we covered here, and if you still have questions out there, please put your questions below the comment. I'm sure Jan will come over and answer them. But Jan, do you have any message for my paperless movement community out there that you want to send out through the endless?
Well, my message to the ether would be...
ether!
To the ether,
was the word I was looking for.
My message would be, well, buy PaperLike, but accept the fact that you might not like it, and that's just normal. But everybody, like really the vast majority, loves it, and that's why I'm happy to say just try it out, and it has made the iPad worth it for me. But that's just marketing. My only thing that I would ask everybody to do, and just looking back at my experience getting to doing PaperLike, is really do things purposefully, yes? Because if you really did your best at every stage you could, you look back and say, okay, this built everything to today, yes? And you can be proud of what you have done in the past and to today. And I hope today I can look back to, let's say, if everything goes well in 30 years, and look back at this interview and say, okay, Jan, you were doing your best at that time, and that's why you got here, and you can be proud of what you have done. And I think that's actually the one thing that I would tell everybody to do. Do your best, hope for the best, and really, if you're really trying, you will get somewhere. And if it's just the next step, just you will continue doing stuff, and it's fun.
Thank you, Jan. I have nothing to add here. I think that was an awesome conversation, and I'm looking forward to stay in contact. It's really inspirational each time we're talking to each other, and I think you out there now got the feeling as well that there's actually a human behind the product, and there's also a lot of work, and all what you said there just fits together with your commitment of your company, that you have a 100% satisfaction guarantee, isn't it? So when you're saying, yeah, just buy it and test it out, and so it sounds like, yeah, just buy it, and if you don't like it, it's your problem. No, if you don't like it, Jan is open-minded to take it back, and that's it. And why can he say that? Because most people like it. It's as easy as that.
Yes, and it's a fair chance. So I'm looking forward to seeing everybody coming. And again, another thing, if anybody has ideas or let's say has questions about crowdfunding, you can also ask me stuff. I built some experience there. I've supported more than 150 campaigns on Kickstarter, for example. So I have some kind of an intuitive feeling of crowdfunding. So
probably we should talk to each other then.
So I'm happy to help out.
I got some idea. So we have to switch up the video now, because I have to talk a little bit about an idea I have in my mind since a while now. And maybe I talk about this in a later video. So stay tuned. If you didn't already, subscribe to the channel, and see you next time.